The night was electric in East London, and the city pulsed with the kind of energy that only a fight night could bring. The Titan Arena, brand new and gleaming with golden lights, was packed to the rafters. Nearly 20,000 people filled the stands, their voices blending into a storm of excitement, anticipation, and national pride. For weeks, this event had been hyped as one of the biggest sporting spectacles in years. The British faithful had come hoping their fighter would defend the honor of London against a brash American challenger. The fight had been brutal, and now it was over. In the center of the ring stood Brandon, the Hammer Cole, a heavyweight from Las Vegas who carried himself like he was carved out of steel. He was tall, broad, and cocky, a man who lived for the spotlight. His fists were still red from the knockout punch he had just delivered, a punch that had sent his opponent crashing lifelessly to the canvas. The referee raised his hand in victory, but Brandon ripped it away almost instantly, grabbing the microphone with a smirk that made the crowd boo and hiss. "London!" Brandon shouted, his American accent booming through the speakers. He prowled across the ring like a lion surveying his conquered territory. "Is this it? Is this the best your city has to offer? I come all the way from the States, and in 5 short rounds I put your boy to sleep. This is your hero? This is your pride? Pathetic." The boos rained down heavier, but Brandon thrived on it. His grin widened as he let the hatred fuel him. He pointed to the cameras, to the jeering fans, feeding off their rage. "You cheer for losers while I stand here undefeated. Let me tell you something, I'm not just the winner tonight. I'm the king of this ring, the king of London." He slammed his fist against his chest, eyes wild. "Forget your football clubs. Forget your history. Forget your so-called tough guys. This city belongs to me now, and you can do nothing about it." The arena trembled with a storm of jeers and shouts. Some fans screamed obscenities, some threw cups toward the ring, but Brandon only laughed louder, mocking them with open arms. And then, as if the night itself demanded more, his eyes locked on someone in the front row. There he was, Jason Statham. The crowd's energy shifted instantly. Every camera lens zoomed, every spotlight turned. Jason sat there, calm, composed, wearing a simple black jacket, his jaw clenched and his eyes fixed on the ring. He hadn't come for attention. He was there for a friend who fought earlier in the undercard, and he wanted nothing more than to watch the spectacle quietly. But Brandon Cole saw him, and the opportunity was too sweet to ignore. Brandon pointed straight at him. His grin turned into a cruel sneer. Well, look who we've got here. Jason Statham, Mr. Hollywood himself, the so-called tough guy, the action hero who beats up 10 men at once in the movies. Oh, the people love you, don't they? They think you're the real deal. But let's get one thing straight, you're fake. Every punch you've ever thrown was scripted. Every fight you've ever had was choreographed. You're a washed-up actor living off lies. In here, with me, you wouldn't last 10 seconds. 10 seconds. The crowd gasped and booed, but the moment had already caught fire. Phones were raised, fans started chanting, and the atmosphere became uncontainable. Jason didn't move at first. He just finished the last sip of his drink, placed the bottle calmly on the table beside him, and stood. The chants grew louder. Statham, Statham, Statham. With slow, deliberate steps, Jason walked toward the barricade. Security hesitated, but didn't stop him. The entire arena wanted this. He climbed onto the apron, eyes never leaving Brandon's, and stepped into the ring. The contrast was striking Brandon, sweating, chest heaving with arrogance, towering over him, and Jason, silent, composed, every movement precise, carrying an aura that made the crowd believe in him before the fight even began. Brandon chuckled as Jason squared up in the center of the ring. What are you gonna do, Hollywood? Throw a script at me? Maybe call cut when it gets tough? Jason's reply was short, sharp, and lethal. No scripts, just London. The place exploded. The officials tried to intervene, but it was too late. The crowd demanded a fight, and the energy was unstoppable. Brandon bounced on his toes, smirking, eager to humiliate him. Jason rolled his shoulders, cracked his knuckles, and braced himself. The bell rang. Brandon came charging forward, unloading massive punches that could have knocked most men senseless. Jason slipped under the first, pivoted around the second, and countered with a sharp shot to the ribs. The sound of impact cracked across the arena like a whip. The crowd roared. Jason's movements were quick, precise, economical. The mark of a man who had lived and breathed combat long before the cameras ever found him. Brandon snarled, throwing a barrage of hooks and jabs, trying to overwhelm him with brute strength. But Jason was water-flowing, dodging, punishing. A jab to the jaw. A hook to the body. A short elbow in close that rattled the American's head back. Every counter was clean, efficient, and devastating. "Come on, actor," Brandon spat, a trickle of blood running from his lip. "Hit me proper." Jason stepped forward, unflinching. His fists flew in a blur jab, hook, uppercut. Brandon's knees buckled. Desperation took over as the American swung one last wild haymaker, a punch thrown with every ounce of muscle he had left. Jason ducked, moved inside, and delivered a brutal right hand straight to the chin. The crack echoed through the arena. Brandon's eyes rolled back, his massive frame collapsing to the mat with a thunderous crash. The referee didn't even bother to count. The fight was over. For a moment, the arena was silent. Then it erupted into absolute chaos. The cheers, the chants, the deafening roar of 20,000 people who had just seen their hometown hero rise. Not as an actor, not as a celebrity, but as a warrior. Jason stood tall, breathing steady, his knuckles bruised, his face calm. He looked down at Brandon, then slowly picked up the mic. The crowd hushed instantly, waiting. Jason's voice cut through the noise like a blade. "London already has a king." He dropped the mic, turned, and walked out of the ring. As the arena shook with chants of his name, the legend of Jason Statham in London, now etched forever into history.